January 30th, 2012. Literary terms presentations. Third quarter, 8th grade, group 1.
Okay, an antonym. Antonyms are words that have opposite meanings, like good and bad, day and night, small and big, boy and girl.
Simile is a comparison using like or as. Like, Hannah is as smart as a doorknob, which is true. Hannah's hair is like a flowing waterfall. And Hannah is like the sun because she is bright. Just kidding.
Foreshadowing means to show or indicate beforehand, prefigure. Foreshadowing can be a form of backwriting. The writer goes back through the copy and adds foreshadowing to prepare the reader for later events. Example. In the opening of The Wizard of Oz set in Kansas, the transformation of Miss Gulch into a witch on a broomstick foreshadows the reappearance of Dorothy, enemy in Oz.
Autobiography is an account of a person's life written by that person. So, like, if I wrote a book like My Life by Rochelle Gabriel, that'd be me. And then foreshadowing, a warning or indication of a future event. For example, her early interest on airplanes foreshadowed her later career as a pilot.
Spoonerism is an error in language in which you switch the letters of words around, such as, the weight of wages will press hard upon the employer. It's better said as, the rate of wages will press hard upon the employer. Another one is, the Lord is a shoving leopard. The Lord is a loving shepherd. But it still must be actual words when you switch the letters.
Alliteration. Alliteration refers to the repetition of particular sounds in the first syllables of a series of words or phrases. Example, Alice's aunt ate apples and acorns around August. Gary the giraffe gobbles gooseberries repeatedly, getting good at grabbing gooseberries. Most children's alphabet books have alliteration. C is for cat, and Dan the dog. Nicknames use alliteration sometimes too. The Hops Hopkins. I don't know if Alex Hopkins uses that anymore, but because he jumps high in basketball. Shauna. And even real names like Peter Parker. And tongue twisters are sometimes alliteration too. Sally sold seashells on the seashore. How many crams can a clean How many can a clam cram in a clean cream can?
The words Jordan and I did were personification and metaphor.
Personification is a noun. The definition of personification is the representation of an object in the form of a person. An example would be art. Which example is cars, and what we said is the car yelled out to me.
Metaphor. The definition of a metaphor is a figure of speech in which a term or phrase is relevant to something to which it isn't literally applicable in order to suggest a resemblance. Example, my arm is a boulder.
1.
Okay, today I'm going to teach you what a fable is. Okay, first off, the definition of a fable is a short story, typically with animals or as characters conveying a moral. So then I made an acrostic, which is to help you remember what it is. F stands for fiction, as in it's not real apparently. So then A for animals, because normally they will include animals or inanimate objects that use personification to make them realistic. Brief. It's a short story, and brief is a synonym for short. And then L, learn. Moral, you learn something from a moral. So E for examples. The Ugly Duckling. First off, it starts off with an ugly little duck, as so. And then by the end of the story, it turns into a full-blown swan. And the moral would be, if you're a good person, it will eventually shine through, as so. And then the other example is the Three Little Pigs. It's fictional because apparently pigs do not build houses. It uses animals, the pig and the wolf. It's a very short story. And you learn that those who work hard will come out on top in the end, from the last pig who built the brick house. And then you might be wondering, fairy tale versus fable, what's the difference? Well, a fairy tale uses mythical creatures like giants, elves, and unicorns, and it has a magical solution. But a fable uses real-life creatures like ducks and pigs, and a more practical solution, like, a duck really does turn into a swan. So, in closing, Hannah, what does F stand for?
Fictional.
Shannon, A.
Thanos.
Nick, B. Alyssa, Josh, L.